Welcome into Seattle Seahawks Today. I am Tom Downey here with some rumors and news on Seattle and begin with some free agency conversation. Could Carlton Davis be a big-time splash move by Seattle in free agency? ESPN Jeremy Fowler had the best team fit for each of his top 50 free agents. He had Carlton Davis as the number 11 player on his list, and he says Seattle is the best fit for the potentially soon-to-be former Tampa Bay Buccaneers corner. Now, Davis does fit the typical mold of Seattle corners, although, as we saw this year and in recent moves, Seattle has been willing to move away from that style with guys like DJ Reed, guys like Trey Brown in recent draft/acquisition moves. Now, I would expect Davis to command quite a bit of money. I think it's going to be an interesting free agency. A lot of big-time corners, guys like J.C. Jackson. I would be a bit surprised if Davis did not get at least $14 million per year. I think he's going to get more than what Shaquille Griffin got when he signed the deal with the Jacksonville Jags last offseason. That could be an issue for Seattle. They don't like to spend big typically at corner, but he's been really good. And look, Davis missed some time this year because of injury. His pass breakups and interceptions, yes, they went down. So did, though, his completion percentage, his yards, and his touchdowns. I don't think Davis is necessarily a household name, but I do think he's one of the best young corners in the NFL. And I think getting him, even though it'd be expensive, would be a fantastic addition by Seattle. If you add Carlton Davis, you might not retain or be able to retain DJ Reed. But Davis, I should say, and some combination of Sidney Jones, Trey Brown, that's a pretty good combo at corner. Now, Davis is great, but like I've alluded to, I wonder if Seattle will actually pay him. That has not been their typical MO in recent years, spending big on outside guys at that position. They've let other corners walk away in recent years, but it does intrigue me. I think it'd be a very intriguing idea for Seattle and a good move if they were to do it, and if they didn't have to break the bank and some buzz, he might get $20 million. That's too much for me. If I can get him for 15, 16, I think I'd have interest there. So what do you guys think? Should the Seahawks sign Carlton Davis? This is the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes on YouTube, take advantage of it. Type S for sign at the pinned comment or P for pass. Also on that list was Duane Brown, the left tackle, aging but still productive. Here's what Fowler had as his best fit. Well, it was sticking around in Seattle, which I understand that. Brown has begun to show some signs of decline, although maybe it's just an every other year thing for him. Great in 2020 and 2018 based on the admittedly iffy at times PFF grades. This was his worst year in a while, 37th overall. That's among all tackles, so not that bad. That's still a starting caliber guy, but not the same player he was at his absolute best in Seattle and or Houston. But I'm open to bringing back Brown, which we'll spend some more time on here in a second. But first, make sure you guys are subscribed. Seahawks offseason news, rumors, that includes draft, trades, and of course, free agency, all available right here on Seattle Seahawks Today. So if you haven't already, join us by subscribing. I am all for re-signing Duane Brown. I think it'd be a good move if these two things happen. Cheap-ish deal, and it's short. At Duane Brown's age and coming off his worst year in a while, I do not want to commit multiple years and big guaranteed money for someone who I think we have to acknowledge the possibility begins to continue to decline. This was not just a one-year dip, but that might be his play going forward, given how old he is. I also wonder if there is the answer on the roster right now. I like the pick of Stone Forsythe out of Florida. I thought he should have gone earlier than what he did. He also played in 14 games this year, was a late day 3 pick. 14 snaps. Thank you, producer Jeremy. 14 snaps right there on screen for me. I don't want to assume he's the guy long-term because he hasn't shown that he can be. And then you're looking at, well, Brandon Shell's a free agent. Maybe Jake Curran is your right tackle option. Flash him as a UDFA. I think it is a gamble to just assume Stone Forsythe is your guy. So even if you think he's an option, maybe resigning Duane Brown does make sense. You can buy more time for your internal evaluation of the rookie last year out of Florida. So when it comes to Duane Brown, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to resign him or no? Type in Y for yes, you want to bring him back. This, of course, assumes it's at the right cost. Or type in N for no, you do not. News update now on DK Metcalf. He's undergone foot surgery. This isn't a massive red flag. Metcalf getting a screw removed from his foot. He kind of battled that all year long. He kind of broke the news himself on his Instagram, posting himself in a boot. His left foot, of course, as you can see right here in that boot, just like intern Sam is here at Chat Sports. Nothing majorly concerning on this front. He'll be just fine. It's a minor procedure. He'll be back well before, workouts begin, I would assume, from that perspective. And hopefully leads to better production out of DK Metcalf this year. Although this is not bad, especially when you factor in the missed time and the limitations Metcalf had to an extent. It does still bother me, though, that he should have better production because he's so big, he's so fast. You would think you'd be able to scheme him a little bit more. I would blame some early offensive coordinator woes, although for whatever reason for years, this team has been unable to both maximize Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf in the way you would expect. But if you want to wish DK a speedy recovery, like I assume everybody watching does, because otherwise you're kind of a horrible person, like the video right now if you want to wish DK Metcalf a quick, speedy, and successful recovery from that minor foot surgery. Deal alert for you guys as well. Hoodies up to 50% off. Hoodies, sweatshirts, some quarter zips as well. All available at chatsports.com/SEA hoodies. That's, SEA for Seattle. Men's and women's. If you didn't get what you wanted for Valentine's Day or you forgot to get a gift for Valentine's Day, well, hey, you're in trouble. You can start to rectify that and take step one of getting out of the doghouse by getting your guy or girl a nice Seahawks hoodie or sweatshirt, and you can save 50% as well. Chatsports.com/SEA hoodies. Link will be in the comments section and in the description. The rest of today's show will be a reaction to the latest PFF Mock Draft with trades, and I'm going to mention this in the words of soon-to-be-fired intern Jack here. Ooh, I broke that news. Jack here at Chat Sports. Don't shoot the messenger, but PFF did predict that the Eagles trade for Russell Wilson, and I've actually got a lot of grievances to air with this particular move. The Russell Wilson trade package gets them 2 first-round picks, 15 and 19. And that's it. 2 top 20 picks, but not top 10 picks for Russell Wilson, which is less, kind of, than what Matthew Stafford got. And that includes taking on a bad Jared Goff contract. I don't get that whatsoever. Now, if you want a good mock draft, well, we'll break down the PFF bad one in a minute, more in depth. But we'll do mine later on this week, a full 7-round mock draft here. So make sure you are subscribed and turn those notifications on. Here are the previous 5 picks before Seattle got to go on the clock. Drake London, Kenny Pickett, George Karlaftis, Jamison Williams, and Trevor Penning. So the options then for Seattle, some notable guys they could select. The big corners are gone. Andrew Booth's your best guy out there. David Ajabo is on the board out of Michigan. That intrigues me. You want a Al Woods replacement. Jordan Davis there. Tyler Linderbaum is there if you want to fix your center spot, but you don't have a franchise QB since you didn't get one for Russell Wilson, so PFF has them taking Matt Corral. And I get some of the appeal when it comes to Corral. Quick release, pretty accurate, has shown some deep ball ability, solid arm, dual threat as well. There is an argument to be made he's QB1 in a draft class full of QB3 quarterback prospects. He also runs a very heavy RPO offense at Ole Miss. His production was steady. But if we accuse Justin Fields, which was erroneous, by the way, of being a one-read QB, I don't know what Matt Corral then is. A half-read QB? I actually charted the algorithm. I never try to take too much time. I can just get charting numbers elsewhere. Over half of his throws were either RPOs, play actions, or screens against Alabama. They didn't run that many typical drop back, read the defense plays. He's not there yet. So if that's your QB of the future, I got concerns when you downgrade significantly from Russell Wilson. But hey, there are 2 first-round picks, right? You can get Linderbaum. Nope. Bernard Raymond out of Central Michigan. Now, PFF loves him. And I get some of the appeal there. Big, athletic lineman, hails from Austria, was a tight end to begin his career at Central Michigan, moved to tackle, still looks raw at points, but the upside is certainly big. He's also not that, the frame should have more room for mass. I'm not sure how much more he's actually going to tack on here. In theory, this is your left tackle of the future. But if you told me right now that Seattle were to trade away Russell Wilson, and knowing that these guys could be great players, but as prospects, you tell me they get Matt Corral and Bernard Raymond, I'd be like, oh no, did Russ get hurt? Like that's not good enough value for a franchise QB. So I do not like this haul whatsoever for Seattle. And reminders, don't trade away Russ. Just keep him happy. Now, if Seattle had a round one pick, maybe they move into round one, hypothetically. Name a player you'd want them to draft. We're keeping Russ, by the way, in this scenario. Let me know in the comments who you want Seattle to pick if they could get into the back end of the first round.